And a very good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to NIC Asia Presents Kantipur Conclave 2024, powered by Asian Paints. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the chairperson of Kantipur Media Group, Mr. Kailash Shiroya, our chief guest, Right Honorable Chief Justice Prakash Singh Raut, our keynote speaker, Nobel Peace Laureate, Mr. Kailash Satyarthi, Dr. Baburam Bhattarai, former Prime Minister of Nepal, and along with them, a warm welcome to all our respected speakers, some of whom have even traveled across the world to be here with us today. Our panelists, moderators, thought leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sadiksha Shrestha, and I'd like to welcome all of you to the 4th edition of Kantipur Conclave 2024. We're honored to have each of you here today as we embark on an important and timely conversation on the theme, Democracy in Dilemma. In an era marked by political polarization, technological disruption, and global shifts that are challenging institutions worldwide, the question of democracy's resilience has never been more relevant. Across the globe, from established democracies to emerging ones, we see the principles of freedom and representation facing new pressures and tests. Today, we will explore the strengths, vulnerabilities, and future of democracy in an age of uncertainty. Thank you all for joining us in what promises to be a day of thoughtful discussions and meaningful insights. To formally begin our event, may I please request all our distinguished guests to kindly rise in honor of our national anthem.
Sayuthunga fulka हामी एउटै माला नेपाली सार्वभौम भई फैलिएका मेची महाकाली सायुथुङ्गा फुलका हामी एउटै माला नेपाली सार्वभौम भई फैलिएका मेची महाकाली प्रकृतिका कोटि कोटि सम्पदाको आचल वीरहरूका रगतले स्वतन्त्र अटल ज्ञान भूमि शान्ति भूमि तराई पहाड हिमाल अखण्ड यो प्यारो हाम्रो मातृभूमि नेपाल बहु जाति भाषा धर्म संस्कृति छन् विशाल अग्रगामी राष्ट्र हाम्रो जय जय नेपाल.
Thank you one and all. Please do take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, an event of this caliber truly takes the dedication and hard work of an entire village, or perhaps even two. Behind every detail of the Kantipur Conclave is a passionate team working tirelessly to bring together the ideas and voices that shape our society. But none of this would be possible without visionary leaders who inspire and guide this effort. Mr. Kailash Shiroya, chairperson of Kantipur Media Group, is one such leader whose commitment to fostering dialogue and advancing knowledge has been essential in creating this powerful platform. It is my honor to invite Mr. Shiroya to the stage for his welcome address.
Thank you, Sadiksha. Good morning, everyone. It's my immense pleasure to welcome you all to the inauguration of the Kantipur Conclave. We are honored to have so many esteemed guests joining us for this significant event, which promises to be a beacon of transformative dialogue on some of the most pressing issues of our time. First, let me extend a warm welcome to the Right Honorable Chief Justice of Nepal. Your presence adds great value to this conclave. We are grateful for your acceptance to inaugurate this event. We are also delighted to have former Prime Minister Dr. Baburam Bhattarai with us today. Thank you for being here to share your vast insights and experiences. A heartfelt thanks to Nobel Peace Laureate, Mr. Kailash Satyarthi. Your groundbreaking work in rescuing child laborers and your tireless advocacy for peace has inspired the world. We are truly privileged to have you here, Mr. Satyarthi, and your presence elevates the significance of our gathering. We warmly welcome Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, former Chief Election Commissioner of India. Your expertise and anticipated insights on the complexity of the democracy are invaluable. And we look forward to your contribution to our discussions today. We are honored to welcome Indian political scientist, Mr. Pratap Bhanu Mehta, and political activist, Mr. Yogendra Yadavji. Your unwavering dedication to democratic reform and throughout provoking ideas have been a source of inspiration for many. Thank you for joining us and for continuing to push the boundaries of political discourse. A special welcome to our distinguished guests from around the world. Michael Kugelman and Peter Gill from the United States, Peng Wang from China, Thomas Bell from the United Kingdom, and other global leaders. Your presence brings a truly international dimension to our discussion, and we are excited about the diverse perspective you will bring to this discussion. Additionally, I would like to honor our esteemed political and social activists, industrialists, academics, students, professionals, entrepreneurs, and journalists. Your participation underscores the broad spectrum of expertise represented here. And we are grateful to have each one of you contributing to this dialogue. Your insights are crucial, and we strive to tackle both local and global challenges. The Kantipur Conclave is a premier platform that unites through leaders, visionaries, and change makers from within Nepal and across the globe. It is a space designed for transformative dialogue, where innovative ideas are exchanged and turned into actionable solutions. Our focus is on innovation, governance, and the future of democracy, and we are committed to fostering an environment where meaningful discussion can inspire real changes. This year's theme, Democracy and Dilemma, is particularly relevant as more than half of the world population votes this year. From India to the United States, Russia to France, and across the United Kingdom, Africa, and Latin America. This election will shape global and regional political landscapes. Yet, this democratic wave is unfolding amidst a surge in populism, fake news, and the increasing influence of AI, which together threaten the very foundations of democracy. Nepal, too, is grappling with these challenges itself, with issues like corruption, governance, problem, and declining trust in leadership. Now more than ever, there is a pressing need to address these concerns and rebuild our trust. Kantipur Conclave 24 brings together a powerful mix of political leaders, scholars, civil society representatives, and journalists. Our discussion will be enriched by the insights of government officials, the perspective of academics, and the grounded experience of practitioners. Together, we will explore solutions and a strategy for reinforcing democratic values, fostering unity, and navigating global challenges. Right Honorable CJ, on the first day today, our debates will cover topics such as democracy at crossroads, policy and prosperity, the wave of populism, social media, a double-edged sword, pain and power, 3 decades of journalism and democracy in Nepal, and a hot seat session with former Prime Minister Mr. Pushpakamal Dal Prachanda. On the second day tomorrow, we will divide into session on election reforms, policy or practice, geopolitical turmoil, women leader on the field, cross-border prosperity, chief minister's key issues, and dialogue with the Right Honorable Prime Minister. The Kantipur Conclave is more than just a forum. It is a space where today's planner and tomorrow visionaries, national and international policy makers, and forward-thinking individuals engage in meaningful debate. Here, we don't identify problem. We also work together to outline and debate potential solutions for a better, more democratic future. Thank you all for being part of this transformative gathering. Let's make the most of our time here and speak meaningful change together. This is only possible through the contribution of our visionary thought leaders who continue to drive progress and inspire innovation. We extend a heartfelt welcome once again to our thought leaders from Nepal and all over the world, whose unwavering dedication shape our journey toward a bright future. I welcome you all again, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Surya, for your remarks, setting the tone for the conclave and for elaborating on the various sessions we shall have today and tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, now to officially inaugurate the Kantipur Conclave 2024, we shall now have the Panas lighting ceremony. Panas, a traditional oil lamp symbolizing the wisdom, enlightenment, and the pursuit of truth. To do the honors, may I please request our chief guest, Right Honorable Chief Justice Prakash Singh Raut, our keynote speaker, Nobel Peace Laureate Mr. Kailash Satyarthi, and our chairperson, Mr. Kailash Shiroya. Our deepest gratitude to our chief guest and our keynote speaker for doing the honors. Ladies and gentlemen, this ritual is deeply meaningful as it reminds us that the guiding light of knowledge can lead us through complex times, and may this light inspire us to approach today's conversation with openness, insight, and a shared commitment to strengthening the values that democracy stands for. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past years, the Kantipur Conclave has become an incredible platform for meaningful dialogue, a key event that brings together thought leaders, experts, and change makers from various fields. Every year, the conclave tackles themes that are not only thought-provoking, but also deeply relevant to the times we're living in. This commitment to addressing current global and local issues has made Kantipur Conclave a beacon of insight and inspiration, encouraging us all to engage, reflect, and take action. We've also prepared a very special AV, and would like to request for all your attention towards the screen, please.
What does democracy sound like? Is it the voice of the people rising in the streets? Or the silence when trust begins to fade?
शान्तिपूर्ण जनआन्दोलनमा हरेक दिन लाखौं जनता सडकमा उर्लिन थालेपछि वैशाख 8 देखि 11 गतिको बीचमा दुईवटा शाही घोषणा।
Democracy thrives on the voice of the people, a nation demanding change. But what happens when those voices are drowned out by distrust?
नेपाललाई संविधान सभाको निर्वाचनतिर शान्ति प्रक्रियातिर गणतन्त्रतिर धर्मनिरपेक्षतिर संघीयतातिर एउटा नयाँ नेपालको सुन्दर सपनातिर लिएर गयो।
एकता सहमति सम्पूर्ण कुरालाई लिएर हामी अगाडि गयौं भनेदेखि हामी अगाडि बढ्न सक्छौं।
Around the world, democracy is being challenged at every turn. From Nepal's streets to global capitals, the foundations are shaking.
Voting for a British exit, dubbed Brexit, with almost 52% of the votes choosing to leave the 28-member European Union.
Stormed the Congress, where America's in a rally outside the White House of this bitterly contested election.
Within the past hour, President-elect Biden called on Mr. Trump to tell his people to go home, and within minutes, that was indeed the message delivered from the White House.
Critics are saying that he should reverse that law. There are also some deeper frustrations behind those protests.
Who can we trust when the truth itself is under attack? Is democracy just a vote? Or is it the ongoing fight to preserve trust, to protect the future of our freedoms?
AI-generated fake content is shaping up to be one of the biggest threats to democracy.
How do we rebuild when the cracks have spread so wide? Join us at Kantipur Conclave 2024, where we tackle the tough questions. How do we restore faith? How do we protect our freedoms? This year, we aren't just talking, we're taking action. Kantipur Conclave 2024, Democracy in Dilemma. Together, we can make a difference. NIC Asia presents Kantipur Conclave, powered by Asian Paints. E-commerce partner, nimbusbazaar.com. Insurance partner, Shikhar Insurance. Hospitality partner, Hyatt Regency. Travel partner, Zealings Holidays. Airlines partner, Nepal Airlines. International Airlines partner, Cathay. Domestic Airlines partner, Yeti Airlines. ISP partner, Vianet. Sports partner, Kathmandu Gurkhas. Medical partner, Nepal Medicine.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention. And to all our audience watching us from various platforms, a warm welcome to Kantipur Conclave 2024. Democracy in Dilemma is the theme we are tackling this year. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor and distinguished pleasure to invite our chief guest, Right Honorable Chief Justice, Mr. Prakash Singh Raut, for his opening remarks in this August gathering. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our chief guest, Right Honorable Chief Justice.
यस गरिमामय
कान्तिपुर कन्क्लेभ 2024 का अध्यक्ष महोदय, नोबेल पुरस्कारबाट विभूषित र सम्मानित हुनुभएका श्रद्धेय कैलाश सत्यार्थीज्यू, तल ग्यास महासिन पूर्व प्रधानमन्त्री लगायत विशिष्ट अतिथिहरू, विद्वान प्यानलिस्टहरू, सार्वजनिक जीवनमा राष्ट्रिय र अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय प्रसिद्धि र ख्याति कमाउनुभएका विशिष्ट व्यक्तित्वहरू, सार्वभौम नेपाली जनताको प्रतिनिधित्व गर्नुहुने सम्पूर्ण जनप्रतिनिधिज्यूहरू, आदरणीय सञ्चारकर्मी मित्रहरू, डेमोक्रेसी इन डिलेमा। मलाई यो कान्तिपुर कन्क्लेभ 2024 उद्घाटन र मन्तव्य दिने जुन सुयोग र संयोग जुटाइदिनु भएको छ कैलाशजीले, त्यसको लागि म धन्यवाद टक्राउन चाहन्छु। अध्यक्ष महोदय, मेरो न्यायिक मर्यादा, संवैधानिक सीमा, न्यायको मान्य सिद्धान्तको कारण र संयमता बर्तनुपर्छ भन्ने मेरै अन्तस्करणको मान्यताको कारण मैले तपाईले दिएका सबै विषयहरूमा मैले आफ्नो विचार सम्प्रेषण गर्न सक्ने मेरो अवस्था नहोला। मेरो सीमा बुझिदिनु यहाँलाई म अनुरोध गर्दछु। तथापि केही कुराहरू मैले जुडिसियरीसँग जोडिएको र यहाँले राखेको विषयमा म सम्बोधन गर्ने प्रयत्न गर्दछु। मैले पनि हाम्रो अध्यक्ष महोदयले यस्तै लेखेर ल्याएको थिएँ, तर 2-4 वटा मसँग टिपोट पनि थियो। यहाँको मास र चम्किलो अनुहार हेर्दाखेरि मलाई के लाग्यो भनेदेखि त्यो लेखेको पढ्न मलाई मजा नलाग्ने अवस्थामा पुगेँ र मैले बनाएका केही टिपोटहरू छन्। त्यो टिपोटमा यो विद्वत वर्गको म ध्यान आकृष्ट गर्न चाहन्छु। अध्यक्ष महोदय, जस्टिसका एस्ट्याब्लिस्ड प्रिन्सिपलहरू छन्। न्यायका ती मान्यताले के उद्घोष गर्छन्? न्यायिक स्वतन्त्रता, अक्षुण्णता, न्यायिक निष्पक्षता, न्यायिक मर्यादा, न्यायिक शुद्धता र स्वच्छता न्यायपालिकाको आत्मा हो। त्यसमा कतै कसैसँग सम्झौता हुन सक्दैन। त्यसमा कुनै हस्तक्षेप पनि स्वीकार्य हुँदैन। न्यायका कालजयी र शाश्वत तिनै मान्यताको आधारमा अदालतका न्यायिक काम कारबाही र न्याय सम्पादन हुनुपर्छ भन्ने मेरो स्पष्ट दृष्टिकोण रहेको छ। दोस्रो, न्यायिक सुधार अपरिहार्य छ। त्यसो त हरेक क्षेत्रमा सुधार अपरिहार्य देखिन्छ। मलाई के लाग्छ भने सुधारको कुरा मैले जोड दिनुपर्ने कारण एउटै मात्र छ। सुधारले विश्वसनीयता जन्माउँछ र बढाउँदछ र विश्वसनीयताले व्याप्त निराशा र वितृष्णालाई पराजित गर्दछ। यो मेरो ठम्याइ छ। यो सुधार कसरी गर्न सकिन्छ? प्रश्न यहाँनिर छ। मलाई के लाग्छ भने सशक्त र जीवन्त नेतृत्वले सुधार गर्न सक्छ। भाइब्रेन्ट लिडरसिपले सुधार गर्न सक्दछ। दोस्रो, इमान र निष्ठाले पनि सुधार हुन्छ। तेस्रो, पवित्रताले, ओतपोत र सिंचित संकल्प, अठोट र प्रतिबद्धताले पनि सुधार गर्न सकिन्छ। चौथो, जवाबदेहिता र पारदर्शिताले पनि सुधार हुन सक्दछ। पाँचौं, सिस्टम, पद्धति, प्रणालीबाट पनि सुधार हुन सक्दछ। छैटौं, विलक्षण प्रतिभा भएका होनहार टिम र त्यस्तै सराउन्डिङ्सले योजनाबद्ध तरिकाबाट प्रयत्न गर्यो भने त्यसले पनि सुधार हुन सक्दछ भन्ने मेरो विश्वास रहेको छ। आफ्नो क्षेत्रमा सुधार गर्न सकियो भने मुलुकले समृद्धिको यात्रा तय नगरी सुखै छैन। त्यही समृद्धिको सुगन्धबाट सुशोभित, पल्लवित र आलोकित र सुभाषित मुलुकको नागरिक हुनु हाम्रो के सौभाग्यको कुरा हुँदैन र? त्यसैले रिफर्म अनिवार्य छ। मलाई लाग्दछ मैले यहाँनिर मेरो क्षेत्रको न्यायिक क्षेत्रको सुधार अपरिहार्य छ मैले भने, राज्यको चौथो अङ्गमा सुधार अपरिहार्य छ कि छैन? तपाईहरुले कलमको स्वतन्त्रतालाई दुरुपयोग गर्नुभएको छ कि छैन? यो विषय म तपाईहरुलाई छोड्दछु। अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैले उठाउनु पर्ने अर्को पनि विषय छ, त्यो हो संसारको कुनै कुरा बहुमूल्य र कीमती छ भने त्यो हो समय। त्यो समयलाई हामीले या त चिन्न सकेनौं या त त्योसँग हामी खेलवाड गरिरहेका छौं। होइन भने कुनै पनि काम किन समयमा हुन सक्दैन, हुँदैन? समयमा सेवा प्रवाह किन हुन सकिरहेको छैन? अध्यक्षमय समय भने गतिशील छ, वेगवान छ र त्यो बलवान छ। समयलाई हामीले चिन्न सकेनौं भने नेसनले ठूलो मूल्य चुकाउनु पर्छ। पिपुले सफर गर्दछ। समयको प्रसङ्ग कोट्याउँदा आजभन्दा 3-4 वर्ष अगाडि मैले आफ्नै 4-5 वर्ष जस्तो लाग्दछ, 4-5 वर्ष मैले आफ्नै जुडिसियरको एउटा ग्यादरिङमा मेरो आफ्नै सम्माननीय प्रधान न्यायाधीशलाई मैले चाहिँ के छ भनेदेखि त्यो सन्दर्भ मैले सुनाउनु परेको थियो। आज मलाई यसो यहाँको यो हेर्दाखेरि यहाँको विद्युत समुदायको त्यो चम्किलो अनुहार हेर्दाखेरि यहाँ पनि मलाई राख्नु जस्तो लाग्यो। त्यो जुन बेला इरानमा राजा थिए, राजा पेहलवी थिए, उनको एउटा मार्मिक र मर्मस्पर्शी भनाइ म यहाँ उद्धरण गर्न चाहन्छु। उनलाई जब धपाइयो र उनी त्यहाँबाट इरान छाडेपछि उनी निर्वासनमा थिए र उनले भने जुन समय म इरानमा थिएँ मैले इरानलाई बुझिन। आज मैले इरानलाई बुझेको छु, तर म इरानमा छैन। समयमै गर्ने काम गरिएन भने सञ्चय र बाँकी बस्ने सिर्फ इरानको राजाको रेग्रेट जस्तै हो, पश्चाताप मात्रै हो। भोलिको सन्ततिको श्राप नलागोस् भनेर हामीले समय चिन्नै पर्ने भएको छ। समयको वेगसँग हामीलाई सँगसँगै लाग्नु पर्ने भएको छ। अहिले त एआई को युग छ। अस्ति भर्खर त्यहाँ चिफ जस्टिसहरूको सम्मेलन मलेसियामा चीनको प्रधान न्यायाधीशले भन्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो। हिजो म कैलाशजीसँग चाहिँ के छ भनेदेखि त्यहाँ यसो सेयर गर्दै थिएँ। उहाँले भन्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो, मलाई त्यो कुरा एकदम अमेरिकामा त्यो म्यानुफ्याक्चर हुन्छ, जापानमा प्रोग्रामिङ हुन्छ, चीनमा मानव रहित प्लेन जहाज सवारीहरू दौडन्छन्। ती उत्पादित र उन्मादी घटना हुन्छ। कहाँ अनुसन्धान गर्ने? सबै त इक्विपमेन्ट छ। मान्छे त कहीँ पनि छैन। समय यस्तो छ। त्यसैले त्यतिखेरको सन्दर्भ के थियो भने मैले त्यहाँ यसो हेर्दाखेरि रुल अफ ल यहाँ छ, प्रविधि आकाशमा छ। अहिलेसम्म त हामीले कानुन बमोजिम मात्रै न्याय गर्छौँ, हिँड्ने मान्छे हुँ नि हामी रुल अफ ल अन्तर्गत। अब प्रविधिले आफ्नो साम्राज्य यसरी खडा गरेछ कि कुनै चिजै टिक्दैन जस्तो भइसक्यो। यो वेगवान समयलाई हामी कसरी सम्हाल्छौँ? मैले यति कुरा यो विद्युत समयमा राखिसकेपछि लोकतन्त्रको बारेमा पनि मैले केही कुरा मलाई भन्न मन लागेको छ। लोकतन्त्रसँग धेरै कुरा जोडिएको हुन्छ। राजनीति र भूराजनीतिक कुरा मैले विचार सम्प्रेषण गर्न सकिनँ। अघि नै मैले भने मेरो न्यायिक मर्यादाले मलाई त्यो छुट दिँदैन। तर केही सन्दर्भ त फेरि लोकतन्त्र कुरा न्यायपालिकासँग पनि जोडिन्छ। अध्यक्ष महोदय, न्यायपालिका लोकतन्त्रको आधार स्तम्भ हो। मैले त्यसरी नै बुझेको छु र यसको ब्युटी त अझ कहाँनिर बढ्ता सान्दर्भिक मलाई लाग्दछ भने सहमतिहरूलाई यसले सहजता आत्मसात गर्दछ र सम्प्रेषण गर्दछ। गम्भीर असहमति र मतभेदहरूलाई पनि यसले सम्हाल्दछ, समेट्दछ, सम्बोधन गर्दछ र त्यो सामर्थ्य मात्र राख्दैन, असहमतिलाई सहमतिमा बदल्ने विलक्षण त्यो एउटा गुण पनि यही लोकतन्त्रमा मात्रै रहेको देखिन्छ, अन्यत्र कुनै राजनीतिक प्रणालीमा देखिँदैन। त्यसैले यसको ब्युटी के छ, अपरम्पार छ। म आफै पनि लिबरल डेमोक्रेसीको भ्यालुजमा विश्वास गर्ने मान्छे हुँ। मेरो बुझाइमा लोकतन्त्र संस्कारले, सभ्यताले, सहिष्णुताले, आदर्शले, असल अभ्यासले सदैव सिंचित गर्नुपर्छ। के त्यो सामर्थ्य हामीले बनाएका छौँ? जानी नजानी लोकतन्त्रको मर्मलाई कतै तेजोबद्ध गरेका छैनौँ? त्यसको मूल स्वरूपलाई नै कतै बिगारेका त छैनौँ? कतै लोकतन्त्रमाथि नै अन्याय त गरेका छैनौँ? लोकतन्त्रलाई सुसंस्कृत ढङ्गले बुझ्न सकिएन भने निसन्देह त्यसले रिटालिएट पनि गर्न सक्छ है। र त्यो छेड पेनफुल ट्राभलिङको लागि चाहिँ के छ भने सुरुवात गरिदिन सक्दछ। अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैले उठाउनु पर्ने यो विद्युत वर्गको उसमा रुल अफ लको कुरा पनि छ। रुल अफ लको कुरा मुलुक भने संविधानले शासित हुनुपर्छ, मुलुक भने कानुनले शासित हुनुपर्छ। मेरो मान्यता त्यही छ। कानुनको शासन नभएको मुलुकले तरक्की र समृद्धि प्राप्त गर्न सक्दैन। यदि हामीले तरक्की र समृद्धिको शिखरलाई चुम्नु पर्ने छ भने एट एनी कस्ट कानुनको शासनलाई नै हामीले स्वीकार गर्नुपर्दछ। कानुनको शासन मान्नलाई पहिला त कानुनकै पालना हुनुपर्छ, कानुनकै सम्मान हुनुपर्छ। ल हामी इमानदार भएर भनौँ, सबै क्षेत्र र तहबाट के हामीले कानुनको सम्मान गरेका छौँ, कानुनको पालना गरेका छौँ? मलाई यसै सन्दर्भमा मैले यो विधिको शासनको कुरा पनि किन बढी जोड दिएँ भनेदेखि कहिले कहिले कुनै कुनै एउटा कन्टेक्स्टबाट कसैका भनाइहरूबाट चाहिँ के छ भनेदेखि मानिसहरू के प्रभावित हुनुपर्ने हुन्छ। म पनि डाइसीको एउटा भनाइबाट चाहिँ के छ भनेदेखि एकदमै प्रभावित थिएँ। बी यु एभर सो हाई, द ल इज एभोभ यु। तिमी आफूलाई जतिसुकै उच्च र मान किन नठान, तर तिमीभन्दा माथि कानुन छ है। त्यसैले विधिको शासन भएन भने फेरि हामीले तरक्की र समृद्धि हासिल गर्न सक्दैनौँ। यसतर्फ पनि मैले विद्युत समुदायको ध्यान आकृष्ट गर्न चाहेको हुँ। अर्को एउटा कुरा पनि मैले यो विद्युत समुदायको मैले ध्यान आकृष्ट गर्नुपर्ने छ कि काम त सबैले आफआफ्नो गर्नुपर्छ। साँच्चीकै गरेको भए देश नबन्ने कुरै थिएन। हाम्रो देशमा हाम्रो देश काम नगरेर नबनेको हो कि काम गरेर नबनेको हो कि काम नगरेर नबनेको हो? प्रश्न यहाँनिर छ। हामीले आफूले काम नगर्न साथ हामीले कस्तो संस्कार बसाएको छ भने अर्कालाई दोष दिन पुग्दछौँ। यो ब्लेमिङ कल्चरबाट कहिले मुक्त हुने हो? मेरो बुझाइमा ब्लेमिङ कल्चरले कहिले पनि मुलुकमाथि उठ्न सक्दैन। आफ्नो काम त सबले गर्नै पर्दछ। हाम्रो स्वभाव, हाम्रा चरित्रहरू अब पनि हामीले बदल्न कोसिस गरेनौँ भने हामीले समाज बदल्न सक्दैनौँ। जति सक्छ यो ब्लेमिङ कल्चरलाई हामीले विदाई गर्नुपर्छ। मैले धेरै समय लिइसकेँ। म खालि एउटा दुईटा पोइन्ट अध्यक्ष महोदय, म आफ्नो यो कुरालाई के छ भनेदेखि मैले अर्को यो विद्युत समुदायमा राख्नै पर्ने कुरा के छ भनेदेखि यहाँहरूलाई लाग्दैन कि बौद्धिक छलफलहरू धेरै भयो भनेर हजारौं चाहिँ के छन् त्यो प्रतिवेदनका ठेले सबै दराजमा परेका छन् त। दिन रात अहोरात्र चाहिँ के चाहिँ छलफल हुने, परिणाम केही पनि नहुने। कसो भयो? कसले जिम्मा लिने हो? तर न्यायपालिकाको जिम्मा चाहिँ म प्रकाश राउतले लिने हो। यो मेरो नैतिक जिम्मेदारीभित्र पर्छ। यस निम्ति म यो भन्दछु र उद्घोष पनि गर्न चाहन्छु र योभन्दा अगाडि मैले भने हुँ, म बेचिन्न, मलाई कसैले किन्न सक्दैन। म यसै गरी न्यायिक मर्यादा राख्दछु र मेरो जति समय छ त्यो समयलाई मैले के छ भनेदेखि यही न्याय सम्पादनमा यिनै कालजयी मान्यताहरूबाट नै मेरो न्यायालयको शिर नझुक्ने गरी मेरो आफ्नो समय मैले त्यहाँ व्यतीत गर्नेछु। तर फेरि एउटा क्षेत्र मात्रै सुधार गर्न खोजेर नहोला नि, अन्तको बाछिटा पनि फेरि आउला, रिफ्लेक्सन आउला, फेरि त्यसको जिम्मा कसले लिने हो? मैले अध्यक्ष महोदय मुस्कुराइरहनु भएको छ, यहाँ एकदमै लब्ध प्रतिष्ठित मानिसहरू हुन्छ, सञ्चार क्षेत्रका दिग्गज मानिसहरू हुनुहुन्छ र तपाईहरुले धेरै ठुलो योगदान दिनुभएको छ। न्यायपालिकाको त मैले जिम्मा लिन्छु, यहाँहरूलाई मैले भनिसकेँ। राज्यको चौथो अङ्गको जिम्मा कसले लिन्छ? फेरि अरू क्षेत्रको जिम्मा कसले लिन्छ? अरूले जिम्मा लिने कि नलिने त्यो कुरा मसँग धेरै सरोकार राख्दैन, तर मैले यहाँहरूलाई भनिसकेँ मेरो ठाउँको जिम्मा चाहिँ म लिन्छु। अघि म भन्दै थिएँ कि मुलुकले खोजेको के हो? खालि भौतिक छलफल खोज्यो, मुलुकले के खोज्यो? रिजल्ट खोज्यो। तपाईले परिणाम दिनुहुन्छ, विश्वास जन्मिन्छ। त्यो विश्वास कसरी आउँछ? हाम्रा सुकर्महरूबाट आउँछन्, हाम्रा सत्प्रयासहरूबाट आउँछन् र हामी परिणाममुखी हुनुपर्छ। होइन भने निराशा र वितृष्णामाथि हामीले विजय पाउन सक्दैनौँ। त्यसैले अध्यक्ष महोदय, अब धेरै बौद्धिक छलफल होइन, अब सबै हामीले के छन् परिणाममुखी, रिजल्ट ओरिएन्टेड, एक्सन ओरिएन्टेड काम मात्रै गर्नुपर्छ। यो दराजमा प्रतिवेदन थन्क्याउने कामले हामीलाई कतै पुर्याउँदैन। अर्को एउटा लास्ट पोइन्ट भनेर म आफ्नो गर्न चाहन्छु। अर्को एउटा कुरा पनि छ, हामी राइटलाई राइट भन्न सकेका छैनौँ, रङलाई रङ भन्न सकेका छैनौँ। त्यो सकिन्छ बा त्यो कहिलेबाट सकिएला? मेरो बुझाइमा के छ भने प्रचुर निष्ठा र नैतिकता भएन भने त्यो रङलाई रङ, राइटलाई राइट भन्ने सामर्थ्य कसैले राख्दैन। आज गलतलाई गलत भन्न सक्ने सामर्थ्य पनि मान्छेले गुमाए जस्तो लाग्दछ। यदि गलतलाई गलत भन्ने सामर्थ्य गुम्न थाल्यो भने दुर्भाग्यको श्रृङ्खला कहिले रोकिन्न, त्यसले जहिले पनि निरन्तरता पाइरहन्छ। र आफ्नो समय र कालखण्डमा त्यो भन्न सक्नु पर्दछ। कहिले कहिले कुनै कुराले चाहिँ के छ भने मान्छेलाई छुन्छ। तपाईहरु यहाँ धेरै आज राज्यका चौथो अङ्गको चाहिँ के छ भनेदेखि एकदमै ख्याति प्राप्त र प्रसिद्ध तपाईहरु यहाँ पत्रकार र चाहिँ लब्ध प्रतिष्ठित मानिसहरू हुनुहुन्छ। तपाईलाई एउटा छेडको म सम्झना म गराउँदछु। यो कुरा कहिलेको कुरा थियो भने 34-35 साल तकका कुरा थियो। त्यतिखेर समीक्षा भन्ने पत्रिका थियो। त्यो पत्रिका त्यतिखेर अञ्चलाधीश कार्यालयले त्यो समीक्षा भनेको दर्ता खारिज गरेर सर्वोच्च अदालतमा रिट आएको थियो। अनि त्यहाँ भित्रको एउटा लाइन थियो, डिफेन्समा उहाँको दर्ता खारिज गरेर डिफेन्समा एउटा लाइन थियो। उहाँले त्यहाँ भन्नुभएको थियो, मैले पत्रकारिताको जीवनको लामो उतार चढावमा कलमको स्वतन्त्रतालाई कहिले दुरुपयोग गरिन। त्यो भारलाई त्यतिखेरको न्यायालयले के गरेको थियो? सम्मान गरेको थियो। म चाहन्छु अहिलेको राज्यको चौथो अङ्गले सायद न्यायालयले आफ्नो मर्यादाभित्र सम्बोधन गर्न सक्ने, तपाईहरूले विचार र दृष्टिकोणहरू नै सम्प्रेषण गर्नुपर्छ मलाई जस्तो लाग्दछ। र त्यसैले नै हामीलाई एउटा चाहिँ के छ भनेदेखि हाम्रो आत्मसम्मान, हाम्रो प्रतिष्ठा र हाम्रो स्वाभिमानको जगेर्ना गर्न सक्दछ। अध्यक्ष महोदय, राइटलाई राइट भन्ने तागत चाहिनलाई नैतिक बल प्रचुर भएन भनेदेखि इम्पोसिबल, सक्दैन। तसर्थ म चाहन्छु कि अब कति पनि ढिलाइ नगरिकन हामीले सत्यको मात्रै वकालत गर्नुपर्ने समय आइसक्यो। मलाई यो ऐतिहासिक अवसर दिनुभयो हाम्रो काठमाडौँ पब्लिकेसन्सले, यो अवसर पनि मलाई दिलाइदियो। यस निम्ति फेरि पनि म एकपल्ट धन्यवाद प्रकट गर्न चाहन्छु। र मैले यसलाई यत्रो विद्युत समुदायमा मैले आफ्नो यो चाहिँ के छ भने विचार सम्प्रेषण गर्ने जो अवसर दिनुभयो त्यसको लागि म यहाँसँग आभारी पनि छु। र म धन्यवाद दिँदै यो कान्तिपुर कन्क्लेभ 2024 को सफलताको शुभकामना समेत दिँदै म आफू यहाँबाट बिदा हुन चाहन्छु। धन्यवाद।
Our deepest gratitude to our Chief Guest, Right Honourable Chief Justice, for your words that have set a meaningful foundation for today's discussions and reminded us the importance of protecting and nurturing democratic values as well as doing our part. Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward with our event, it is an incredible honor for me to mention a few things about a distinguished personality amongst us today, our keynote speaker, Nobel Peace Laureate, Mr. Kailash Satyarthi. Firstly, it's a privilege for me to welcome him to Nepal, his second home, a country that has been a central part of his lifelong mission to fight child exploitation. Since 1981, Mr. Satyarthi, along with his team, have rescued nearly 12,000 Nepali children from forced labor, trafficking, and slavery in circuses, brick kilns, factories, and homes. This year, incidentally, also marks the 10th anniversary of his Nobel Peace Prize. One of his most heroic acts was risking his life to rescue Nepali girls trapped in a circus in India's Uttar Pradesh. The circus owner, after threatening Mr. Satyarthi with a gun, brutally beat him up, his son, and his colleagues, leaving them for dead. Miraculously, they did survive, despite life-threatening injuries. Mr. Satyarthi continued his fight, even going on a hunger strike, until the rescued children were safely returned to their families. Nepal has always been a key focus for his work, and through collaboration with local activists and civil society, Mr. Satyarthi has tirelessly worked to protect children's rights and ensure their access to safety and education. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have a beautiful video that tries to encompass the incredible work that he does. Let's have a look at that video.
The joys and freedom of millions of children started with just one feeling. What if the child slave Sabo was my daughter? Sabo, who was about to be sold to a brothel. Sabo, whose desperate father lay in a heap at my feet. Perhaps it all started with a spark of compassion and today become a worldwide movement. I believe that each one of us is born with two natural gifts, consciousness and compassion. Both are the core reasons of our being. When we feel the suffering of others as our own suffering, with a strong drive to take action, That is compassion. God is not so meager that He has blessed us with only a little of compassion, which we have confined to our families and friends. We need to go beyond that. All that is required is to enlarge our circle of compassion. A touch of compassion is what makes each of us a problem solver, an innovator who is ready to accept all challenges and solve them. When we work towards making our world a better place, each one of us becomes a compassionate leader. In fact, all world religions and movements were born out of compassion. I stand with 8 billion people because the world is my family. In this age of interconnectedness, are we really connected with each other? Compassion is the greatest form of connectedness and love. There is no curse bigger than being alone. Loneliness is frightening. If you are connected, you are fearless. And we are the safest if we feel like a part of our global family.
We are the mothers of the children. They have been taken back.
I am not a teacher or a preacher of compassion. I have made it a way of life. I truly believe that every solution lies in compassion in action. So, my dear friends, as we globalize markets, resources, and data, I urge you all to globalize compassion. Sangachadvam samvadadvam samvo manansi janatam deva bhagam yatha purve sanjananam upasate.
We shall overcome one day.
Honorable Chief Justice of Nepal, former Prime Minister Baburam Bhattaraiji, Kailash Sirohiyaji, Pratap Bhanu Mehtaji, Yogendra Bhai, Dilli Chaudhary ji, Reena ji, and dozens of my friends and family, brothers, sisters, young friends. I am very delighted and blessed. Blessed because I am standing here in the land of Pashupatinath and Lord Buddha. And I am delighted to be amongst specialists, experts, thought leaders, scholars, industrialists, university students, politicians, and so on. I recall many incidents, but my very tiny contribution in the struggle for the democracy of Nepal. I was the part of at least 2 or 3 organizations. The Nepalese or Indo-Nepalese groups which were fighting to bring democracy in Nepal in mid-80s, early 80s. So a few times I participated in the demonstrations and other activities. So once we were demonstrating, having a protest in front of Nepalese embassy in India. I think it was in 82 or 83. And the police started cane charge. And I was the one who was hit in my back and pushed into a police jeep along with several friends of mine and several protesters. It was near the Mandi House area that time, the Nepalese embassy. So we had to sit for the whole day, and we were not informed by the police what action they are going to take, whether they are going to send us in prison or they are going to, what they will do. So we had to sit without food and water 7-8 hours. And finally, they just left us. They allowed us to go. But I have been coming to Nepal dozens and dozens of times, as mentioned in the introduction. So I always say Nepal is like my second home. And I have promised to my friend and like my son, Dilli Chaudhary, who was the union minister here, and recently he was chief minister of Lumbini, that Nepal would be the first country after my hometown in Madhya Pradesh to celebrate the Nobel award that I did. And I came here for the first time, and I could not believe that dozens of thousands of people were on the streets in Dang, and also in Nepalganj and several places. And many of them were the children whom we rescued in the past and their parents and family members. So it is my second home. It has been said yesterday and today that this is a very pertinent topic, democracy in dilemma. And as Honorable Chief Justice has mentioned at least 2-3 times, that this is the time to act. We have to translate our ideas, our thoughts, our knowledge, our wisdom, our experience, our talks about this issue, understanding about this issue into action. We cannot remain passive observers. Needless to say that democracy is not just a political system or a system of governance. It is also an embodiment of certain values that hold society together and keep it fairer. With a sense of responsibility, with a sense of accountability, democracy teaches us how to hold the society together and fairer. And these principles are known to all of us or most of us. Freedom of expression and association, respect and ears to listen to dissent, views and opinions, equality before the law, equal opportunities to grow, to fulfill dreams, regardless of any color, caste, creed, or any other background. And so many other things are there. But when these principles are threatened, then naturally the dilemma begins. Dilemma in democracy. Democracy weakens. So I would not be speaking on those deeper topics which are going to be discussed and delivered in coming 2 days. And the experts are sitting here. But I would briefly bring some issues. I think there are 4 areas of this dilemma in democracy. The first one is erosion of trust in governance. And the trust of the people, of the citizens, is eroded due to several factors. Corruption, lack of transparency, lack of accountability, advancing majoritarianism, polarization, and so many other factors. But when the pillars of democracy, including judiciary and media, they are jeopardized, they are compromised. Or instead of protecting justice and democracy and truth, if they start serving the political interest in different points of time, then the public trust is eroded in democracy. So it is not only in the democratic governance, democratic institutions or governance institutions, but people started devaluating or questioning that why democracy is needed if all things happen as a result of democracy. I can give you an example that I am the part of many of these high-level conversations, dialogue and discussions in the UN reform. There are some groups and committees, official and unofficial, in UN reforms. And where I experience that the erosion of power and trust of United Nations and its institutions today, the weakening of the global governance is resulting in many ways. And one thing is that some very important people started thinking that this UN system is obsolete, but also the idea behind the formation of United Nations and its institutions is also being questioned. These ideas are fundamentals. The principles of democracies are universal and core for the survival of society. So is the United Nations, the principles, the basis of the United Nations. But when they lose their power and authority and trust, then the people become more and more delusioned about those ideas, not just about the institutions. So the first was the erosion of trust. The second is the manipulation of truth. Media is very important in that. And I am very proud and pleased to see that Kantipur Times as well as all the larger family of Kailash ji has taken up this challenge and boldly bringing this issue for discussion, because this is also a self-reflection for media, democracy and politics, all the democratic institutions of governance. So, social media is also, which was mentioned briefly. If social media is controlled, manipulated, misused, abused by some power groups, power of resources, power of state agencies globally, then people are confused. Because every day there is a flood, every minute actually is a flood of false information, which eventually results in divide in society and humanity. Which results in hate, creating hate, revengeful attitude. And we all know and we all say that the world has never been so broken and so divided. At least in the last 70, 80 years, we have seen as it is today. Despite all resources to keep it intact, it is getting more and more divided. And that is also because of the manipulation of truth through the social media, through some of the leaders in some parts of the world, and ordinary citizens and people are the part of it. The third area, I would say the third element in delusion or dilemma is dilution or weakening the values of democracy. In our personal life, in our organizational life, in our institutional and social life, and more in the political life with the political parties, the values of democracy, where the power, credit, decision-making is decentralized, shared. If this is weakening, then slowly the values are diluting. And because of several reasons, we started preferring to be more autocratic of our own decision-making. May it be our institutions, smaller institutions and organizations, may it be the political parties, may it be the national governments. And that goes across. And the fourth factor for this dilemma, which for me is very, very important, and more important because all my life I've been working and struggling on it, is the failure of state or state agencies in ensuring social justice. Social justice is the key. If the people don't see their future in society, if they are not confident that they are going to get the fair share of what they are contributing to the society, if they are not certain about their own future as well as certain about the equal opportunities in society, in economy, in politics, then they lose faith in the democracy. It is the responsibility of state to ensure social justice. But it is equally important that the faith institutions, the social institutions, cultural institutions, civil society organizations must foster the idea and demand for social justice. And that has to be ascertained to protect democracy and to get rid of this dilemma. Decent work conditions, where the freedom, safety, equity, and dignity is ascertained in work. Unfortunately, 40% of the workforce in the world is not given social protection as well as the guarantee of social justice. Today, when I stand here, I would like to bring a very serious issue that 2.1 million, 21 lakh Nepalese today are living outside Nepal. This is 7.4% population of Nepal. I was reading somewhere that 1,700 people leave Nepal every single day. Nepalese leave Nepal every single day. And this is a serious challenge. It cannot be met just by the government, any government. They cannot solve this problem within a day or so. It is also a collective responsibility to accept it as a national challenge. And that begins with mindset. That begins with creating confidence in this country, in this land, and the potential of this land. And that is the collective work which has to be done by the media, by the society, by the institutions which are governmental or non-governmental, to build that confidence that if they stay here in this land, of course there would be problems. It is not so easy to live. Sometimes you feel that it is easier to go to Australia. Australia is the country which has quite a large number of Nepalese workers. But I came across many Nepalese in Europe, in Australia, in Middle East, in America, how they live. Many of them have no legal documents, and they keep on struggling for half of their life and keeping themselves hidden here and there. But their living conditions are so pathetic and sometimes inhuman, which if you go and see them, 8, 10 people living in a small room. Some Nepalese, maybe some Indians, some Pakistanis, Bangladeshis. So a lot of work has to be done. And it is also the responsibility of the state to do every single thing. Spend a lot of resources, time, energy, efforts to give this dream that Nepal has all the potential and possibilities for the future, and if they stay here, they can not only make their life better, but also they will make this country a better living place, more prosperous, more peaceful. And if educated people stay here, and half of them are educated people, many of them are going for education. But a lot of investment is also needed to ensure education, good quality education in the country itself. I'm also aware that 1 out of 6 children are working as child laborers in Nepal. But this is not uncommon in many of the developing countries. 1 out of 10 children in the world are living in child labor, child slavery, child trafficking, etc. When we talk of democracy, how can we think of ensuring the better future, a bright future, a guaranteed future, where the young people can fulfill their dreams, especially the children? 250 million children in the world are out of school today. They have to be in primary and secondary schools. 160 million children are trapped into child labor, slavery, and trafficking. 160 million. Dear sisters and brothers, this is not a number. They are someone's children. They have somewhere their mother who has given birth to them and had concern for them, worries for them. They have fathers, siblings, relatives. But they are sold and bought sometimes in lesser price than the animals. I would recall an incident. Dilli Bhai was there when we organized a long march. I have organized several long marches across Nepal and, of course, across the world, at least one. But when we were organizing a march against child trafficking, we were staying at some place near Lumbini, I think in Lumbini, in a smaller place. And in the night I saw at the corner 8, 10 young people, 12, 13, 14-year-old children, girls and boys were sitting in a corner. They were from South Asia. That was the South Asian March. So Indian, Pakistani, Nepali, Bangladeshi. Language was not the big barrier, so they can communicate. They could communicate. And from the back, I was listening that conversation. One of them asked to other child, I was working at a brick kiln and I was sold. Then somebody has bought me for 2,000 rupees. Then a girl stood up and said, oh, just 2,000. I was more costlier. I was bought for 5,000 rupees. Then another boy from another country, boy and girl both said, yeah, that is not very much. Some of us are bought for 6,000, 7,000 rupees. Then suddenly a girl stood up and said, because I was bought and sold 2 times, once for a domestic help, again for a brothel, prostitution, and I was sold for 15,000 rupees. And then a boy said, in tears, he said that, may I ask you, how much a buffalo cost for? What is the price of a buffalo in your country, in your time? She said, maybe 70,000, 80,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees. Everybody looked at each other. They were all in tears. they left the place. They had no courage to talk to each other. And I had no courage to look into them and stop for a while and talk to them. They were crossing me. I was standing like a stone in tears. Is it the world we are going to give to our children? Is it the democracy? Is it the development? Is it the United Nations? Is it our government which is going to give this kind of future and this kind of present, where the children are sold and bought like animals and sometimes in lesser price than the buffalo and cattle? Social justice. We cannot ensure the success of democracy without ensuring social justice, where every single child has to be protected. Once I was sitting in a remote village in a Western African country, Ivory Coast. And I was sitting with a group of children, and all of them were having injuries, bruises, scars on their bodies, because they were all working in cocoa farms. And you know, cocoa is the core ingredient of chocolate. Language was the problem though, but I sat with them because I have been working in that country for many years. So I sat with this group of children and asked one of the girls, 14-year-old or so, that my daughter, how do you like chocolate? She said, what is chocolate? She asked to the neighboring boy, what is chocolate? All the children who were producing cocoa at the cost of their education, freedom, childhood, health, and chocolates which are liked by young people everywhere in the world, and the big companies making billions of dollars out of it, not millions. These boys and girls said, no, we have no idea what chocolate is. I was trying to explain. Even then, they could not understand. The girl in return told me that, sir, sorry, we have not heard, we have not seen this kind of thing in our life. Is it this world we are going to give to our children? 160 million child laborers means 160 million empty seats in the classrooms. This also means 160 million jobs snatched away from adults and imposed on children because children are the cheapest or free source of labor. This is a vicious circle that eventually demolish the very idea of justice and freedom and equity, and eventually social justice and democracy. World is not so poor. I have actually initiated a group of 80 or plus Nobel laureates from all disciplines called Laureates and Leaders for Children. And some years ago, 3-4 years ago, we came out with a study and released on behalf of laureates and leaders. And we found that only $53 billion additional dollars annually can ensure protection, education, and health care of every single child in all low-income countries. $53 billion. And what is this money? This is less than 10 days of global military expenditure. So world is not very poor. Just this amount of money. So friends, we know the problems. And we also have experience of what works. We have an idea about the solutions of the problems. But while summarizing, I would underline here that the problem or the issue lies in one major thing. And that is not only the disconnect, but the gap between the problem solvers and the problem sufferers is widening and deepening. Those who are legally and morally responsible for solving the problems of problem sufferers, they have lost that track, and the problem sufferers are lost. How we can revive the values of democracy and the democratic functions if this gap is growing and broadening? You can call it lack of accountability, you can call it lack of connectivity, you can call the lack of dialogue and discussion and debates and so on, but the gap is simple. But the third element, and that is the ordinary people, they are becoming more and more problem spectators. Why we should get into it? Oh God, leave it. This is their job. This is a government job to do, or this is the doctor's job to treat the patient. Doctor is the problem solver. But what is the relationship between the doctor and the patients? It's a commercial, transactional relationship or not? It is. Judiciary and the people, the law enforcement agencies and the citizens, teachers and the students, corporate and the consumer. There are a lot of layers in between, a lot of supply chain issues are in between. But problem sufferers are increasing and becoming more and more hopeless. This is one reality. But another reality is that there are organizations in civil society, there are political leaders in the governance in the world. I'm not going to name them. There are youth organizations, students organizations, farmers organizations, workers organizations, media groups, and there are leaders in the corporate world who understand this and they wanted to fill that gap, and they are working towards democracy, they are working towards humanity. This is compassion, which I have just spoken. Compassion is not empathy. It is not mercy. It is not kindness. Unfortunately, all of them were put in one basket, and this is not true. None of these great human traits, human characteristics, except compassion, have the power to transform the world, especially correct those wrongs which are stamped or rooted in the structural, institutional, and systemic causes. These issues like racial discrimination, the caste discrimination, like ongoing communal divide, all these things are so deep-rooted that only the kindness cannot solve the problem. So it needs the power, transformative power of compassion. Because for me, in simple words, selfless and mindful problem solving is compassion. Compassion is selfless and mindful problem solving. I don't want to go into the spiritual or religious part of it. It's very much biological. It's very much neurological. It is innate in each one of us, and we have to reinvigorate the power of compassion in solving each other's problems, and especially holding the agencies responsible and accountable, and that can be done. And that is being done in a smaller way, scattered way here and there. We can learn the lessons from all those things. So even if the democracy is in dilemma, but we have witnessed in the history that such things, such dark times come, or such confusing and dilemma times come, and eventually they go, because nothing is more powerful, nothing is more transformative than the inherent, the innate power in human beings. The conscience of humanity, inside humanity, will definitely put an end to these situations, but we cannot sit quiet, we cannot sit observers. I would end with an anecdote related to Pashupatinath, Lord Shiva. One day, Lord Shiva was walking somewhere here in Himalayas along with his spouse, Parvati. Parvati noticed that there was an elephant passing through in the jungle. But what she noticed was that there were innumerable, thousands of small ants were there on the street. And when elephant put his step, hundreds, thousands of those ants, innocent ants, were killed, crushed. So out of deep concern, she shouted, "Lord, look at these ants. They are innocent and they are being crushed by this elephant. So you have to stop and punish this elephant." Pashupatinath did not stop. He kept on walking. He did not even smile. Parvati was running, more or less. And she shouted more loudly, "What are you doing? I told you to stop this elephant. And if you cannot stop or punish him, you should punish this Mahavat. The Mahavat is responsible for killing it." Lord said that no, the elephant cannot see. Look at his eyes. He cannot see on the earth, land. So he is being taken by this Mahavat. So she said, "You have to punish and stop this Mahavat to save the life of these ants." Then he said, "No, I am not going to punish him or stop him. He is going for some work, and that he has to complete his job." So finally she cried that if you are not going to punish them, just take your Trishul and take the lives of all those ants so they can go in Shivdham, in heaven. Then Shiva stopped and said, "Parvati, none of these are responsible. They are not sinners. You are responsible because you were the first who has noticed that this wrong is happening, this injustice is happening, this catastrophe is happening. Why didn't you stop immediately? Why didn't you stand there in between, and you could have said to Mahavat and to elephant that no, all those ants could have been saved. But you preferred that somebody will come, the Lord Shiva, the Pashupatinath will come and save our life. If we think that some leaders will take birth on the earth and they are going to save democracies, they are going to save humanity, they are going to save the world, then it is already too late. Pashupatinath said, take action now. Don't be silent spectators, silent observers, passive observers. Those who are passive observers, they are guilty. Parvati, you are guilty. So today's and tomorrow's and day after tomorrow's message should be that we cannot remain passive observers. We have to speak out, we have to write down, we have to do whatever we can do for education, for awareness, for public engagement, for civic engagements, for building stronger civil societies, for being bold to ask questions and speak truth to the power. That could be the lesson from here. I wish all the success in your 2 days conference. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you to our keynote speaker for those thought-provoking and heartfelt remarks. Your emphasis on compassion as a cornerstone of leadership and societal progress is both inspiring and timely as well. And that has reminded all of us that compassion definitely goes beyond policies and systems. It's for our shared humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd now like to request our hotel staff to kindly set up the stage for our very first session here at Kantipur Conclave 2024. A warm welcome to all our audience who have joined us live from various platforms. We'd also like to go ahead and thank all our sponsors. Our title sponsor, NIC Asia, powered by Asian Paints. E-commerce partner nimbusbazaar.com, our insurance partner Shikhar Insurance, hospitality partner Hyatt Regency, travel partner Sea Links Travels and Tours,